go back to those first 5 to 9 months where you were staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning trying to get projects done. It's just you and Ryan at this point. Aaron, what was it? Did you get Ryan's hands dirty? Like,
he build work. He absolutely build work. Usually cloud optimization. So Ryan's background is finances, mine is technology. And we absolutely had some work going on. So it was Ryan was building. He was taking a look at resizing virtual machines for a while. I think we did that from a hotel room in Detroit at like 3 a.m. one morning. We had gotten in at like 1 o'clock he was flying in from New York and I was flying in from Houston at the time. And it was like, we both landed at like 1 o'clock in the morning and we were working until 3 trying to resize and automate some changes of virtual machines. But yeah, that's absolutely happened. And that was, I think if you ask me, there are 2 parts of my career, and I've been doing this now since let's just call it 1996. But I've been doing this for a long time. And there are 2 parts of my career that I look back and go, this is the best part of. One was that 9 months where it was 2 guys trying to figure out how do you sell this to an organization. And then the other side of it, there was another year when I worked with, in 2007 that I worked with a team that was incredible. And those 2 parts of it are what's driven me to the point. And it was always about building the team. And even Ryan and I knowing how each other work in that first 9 months, it's been valuable to get to that point where we can grow the team. So, And Ryan, how about you?
Well, I know my bones are still frozen from that night in Detroit at that hotel.
Yes.
It was not glamorous. I mean, we would find the diviest hotels to stay in because they were cheap. That way we could put more money into hiring more expensive, more experienced, more talented staff and look at new technologies that we could leverage. So, I mean, it was a grind in all sense of the word. I mean, it was not glamorous. Not only were we not collecting paychecks, we were pretty miserable, at least physically. I mean, I think I was also getting married. I got married in November, a couple of days after the Cubs won the World Series. And I look back at my wedding photos and I plowed all cash into the business. I was probably down 15 pounds from my normal weight, which was typically closer to 190. And I'm someone who works out a lot. So I look at those photos and wow, I look very malnourished, but I mean, we've literally put all cash into the business to grow. And I remember just looking at those photos now. I mean, it's almost a badge of honor because we've seen how far we've come, all the things that we've been able to accomplish. So it is pretty cool to go back and be able to have that memory. But I certainly don't miss the drafty hotels anymore though.
Yeah.
No.
So you've mentioned it a couple times now where you haven't, for the first year, you didn't draw a salary yourself. Like, how did you 2 survive? Like, I know that we talk about the grind, and in fact, I think our society, you can thank a couple mind leaders within the podcasting community where the term grind is almost romanticized. And I don't think people really understand like what it actually means to do that grind.
It's hard.
It's not romantic at all. It is definitely glamorized, I think, to sell books and podcast audiences, but it is painful. I mean, my advice for anybody would be, you need to know exactly what you're signing up for. I mean, I lived off of, I made a couple of really good investments that I cashed out of those investments. So I lived off of the sale of those investments. But I mean, I bought my wife's engagement ring. I had cash to live off for a year, but my lifestyle, even my diet took a huge cut. I mean, I would basically live off of peanut butter and protein shakes. And so even things like that, huge physical and mental sacrifice, not only just, for what we do as a business, but I look at my diet. I mean, a physician would tell you, what are you thinking? That's insane. But I mean, for Aaron and I, it was always about, this is going to be short-term. We're going to be doing something that's really cool. We're going to be able to attract people that also are passionate about technology, our customer is going to get incredible value from this because we're helping them do things at such pace and scale that otherwise you could never do this or afford. We offered a lot of really good financial incentives. We would discount our rates to build our brand, to win business, because people were taking a chance. I don't want to say an unknown entity, because Aaron and I have been doing this for 10 years, but it was, even though we were experienced, our name was still new. We were trying to get our Stratum brand built in the marketplace. And that ultimately worked for us. We got a couple of wins with some private equity firm portfolio companies, and we were able to build off that success to where now one of them uses us on almost every portfolio company. So it's been great. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's also just an incredibly humbling experience to see the steps in the grinding process of, where you're staying up till 3, and then, okay, you've got some help. So now you're only staying up till midnight, and you've got more help. You've got automation going. Now you're down to 8 p.m., 6 p.m. And now we've got a really talented team and also a really talented management team where they're more or less running the day-to-day parts of each part of the business. And Aaron and I are there to help steer strategy, steer direction, capture feedback from our top customers. So it's really interesting and a lot of fun to look back at different stages, but also incredibly rewarding. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Sure.
Yeah. From my side, Ryan and I are at different parts of where we are with our family. Ryan's got kids that are being born. I've got kids that are graduating. I've got, I had, at the time when we started, I had a child that was graduating that year. And then I had a kid that was a sophomore, one that was a freshman, it was an 8th grader. So coming back and, looking back at it, how do we do it? I realize, again, I call back to it, and it's the support system. My wife was incredible. My kids knew that they were along for the ride as well. And then even beyond that, it was, you find things that you can pick up along the side that really aren't what Stratum does, but I have in my back pocket that I can do, where I maybe help, I help a small business do a thing here or there. And I make a little bit of side cash to try and as a side hustle thing, because Stratum's too big. Even at that point, Stratum was too big for, hey, I need to help to, do a development for a website or create a website, or I'm like, yeah, no, that's a WordPress thing. That's not really what our core business was. And paying attention to that differentiator helped get me through that first year. Cause it was hard. It was really hard. Cause I was, again, I have 4 daughters. And the 4 of them were heading into college at the time. Or we're heading into high school and getting ready to start heading into college. So it was hard. It was really, really hard. But the support system is the most important thing when you're coming at it that way. And again, transparency. Don't think you want to, I can take care of this. Raising your hand early and often and saying I need help is probably the most valuable thing that we can do when we come at it. Because Ryan and I have conversations every morning and every evening going, what do I need help with? What do you need help with? Are we good? Okay, great. We were on the phone call until 10:30 last night. And I was like, okay, I have to go to bed now. But it's just one thing after another that says you have to communicate more than anything else. So.
Thank you for watching Stratum's Cloud Interrupted. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like, and share this video.